If you would like to ask any questions as we go along, if you type them onto the chat at the bottom, Mrs. McBride, the deputy, is going to keep her eye on those questions, and we can answer any questions that we have at the end with anything that you're thinking about as we go through. It's a very strange way of doing this. I've got my own children kicking off because they don't want to go to bed upstairs. The dishwasher's on. My husband keeps trying to come and make cups of tea. So I apologise, and the cat's meowing. So all in all, it's not a very professional image, but I thought that in the absence, normally we gather everybody in the hall, but in the absence of, without being able to do that, there's some information that I think we would all like you to have. So I'll use this, the wonders of technology, and share the screen with you. So you should now all see, first of all, our website. This is really your go-to place at the beginning for all the information. And as you can see at the top here, I've added today the button, new reception starter information. And as time goes on, I'll add more information to it. But in here you will find, you should find some information about the transition days that are coming up, and some other information that we'll share today. This recording will go in there as well. And as we have more information to share with you, it will go into this section here, the new starter information. You've also got lots of different sections of information for parents, and we update it regularly. So anything that you need, if you want to find the answer, hopefully it will be there, and if not, then you can email at any point questions. Tonight I'm just going to go through, I'm not going to take too long going on and on about information, but I just thought that it would be good for you to see our the beginnings of what school will look like. We will talk about daily routine shortly, but the general information that I've already shared with you via email, that you should hopefully all have had. We have been told today for definite that that we will be coming back to school in September, and they've told us that they've given us some guidelines that we're still working through, some risk assessment information that we need to put into place. But essentially our plan so far is that school doors will open at 8:30 in the morning, and from 8:30 until 9 o'clock children will be able to come in at a time to suit you. We're not going to stagger the starts for different year groups because there's too many siblings in school, and it causes too many difficulties for people. So the doors will open from 8:30. You will arrive at school at any time within that half an hour period, which hopefully will mean that you will stagger yourselves effectively, and there won't be a big rush of people all at one time. You will come round the front of the school building, along the path, and through the gate in the reception playground. As you do now, we're not going to change it for the new reception children. And if you're coming to the transition morning on the 15th of July, that's the route that we will show your children, and that's the route that's on the video. So it will hopefully make it clear and make your children confident about that first step. So the doors will open from 8:30, and you'll drop them off, they'll go into the classroom, and the teachers will have activities ready for them. At the end of the day, we will bring your children to the front of school. So these plans are in place for the autumn term, and we will obviously assess things as we move on, and depending on the situation with COVID, potentially we'll be able to go back to normal. If not, we'll have these measures in place, and we're trying to limit the amount of people that are in one place at one time. So the staff won't park in the car park, and we will use that as a collection point so that you can be a little bit more spread out. And reception will start to leave school at 3:15. So you'll be able to come a little bit earlier to collect your children before the other parents filter through at different times. If you have a sibling in an older class, they will be able to leave with you at that time, so that we can try to move people away and you don't have to hang around in the car park. And obviously we'll just keep monitoring that situation when we know what happens. Reception are very fortunate in that they have their own playground anyway, so they will be almost a bubble by themselves. So they will spend the day within the classroom. When it's time for lunch, they will go into the hall to have their lunch, and they will have about 15 minutes where they're the only class. And then they will go back to their reception playground to have their lunchtime break. So there will be very little interaction with other groups within school. For the foreseeable future, we won't be having assemblies. The teachers will run an assembly within the classroom to do some collective worship, but we won't be gathering as a whole school until we believe that it's safe enough to do that. So if I share with you now our presentation. So this is the normal routine. As you can see here, it says starting at 8:45, but that's the normal time. And the changes that we've made today will be from 8:30. But the start time of the day is officially 8:55. So the register will be taken at 9 o'clock. Then they move into phonics, which we'll talk about later, and then they'll do some sort of activity time before they have snacks which are provided, healthy snacks that are provided. Then they'll move into maths, some more activity time before tidying up, and then lunch will be a little bit earlier now because we're staggering lunch times. So I think they're closer to 11:30 now, maybe 20 to 12 will be the beginning of their lunchtime. And they will go into the school hall to collect their lunch from the cook, Ashley, and then they eat it in the hall before returning to their playground. We do have a relatively new system for ordering food, and before you start in September, you will be sent the login details, and we use a system called School Grid, and it means that you can pre-order your child's lunches for up to half a term. So I tend to do it in the half-term holidays to get me through the next half-term, so I don't have to think about it. And there'll be a choice of 2 or 3 different items each day for you to choose to ensure that your child gets something that you know that they're going to want to eat. And if there's nothing there for that particular day, then you have the option, if you choose, to send a packed lunch in. For reception, they do have free school meals. Reception year 1, 2 are given free school meals paid for by the government. So you don't have to worry about paying for them. But you are able, if you would prefer, to send in your own packed lunch as well, and children just bring that with them in the mornings. And then in the afternoon, after their break time, they'd have another registration, some sort of group time activity, PE, understanding the world. And they generally would normally finish at 3:30 after a story, but we will be bringing that forward to 3:15 for this autumn term, just to give a bit of time to move through the playground. It's very important. One thing that's very important to us is communicating with you. It's a big shame that we're not going to be able to have the Friday assemblies, which are so popular with our parents, but certainly for the first half term we won't be doing that. But normally on a Friday we'd invite you in to watch the assembly, and children are given awards and you're there to celebrate with them. So as soon as we are able to, we will start those up again. But in the interim, we send a newsletter each week that will be emailed to you and will be put on the website as well, so you can check in with things that are happening. You'll also get a whole school newsletter once a week that keeps you up to date with things that are happening for the whole school. You'll have a termly report. We do reports, sorry, it used to be termly reports, we're now doing them annually, so you'll get a report in the summer term and you'll have 2 parents' evenings. So parents' evening around about November time, which hopefully will take place. If we're not able to meet you face to face, then we will have a Zoom meeting with you so that you have a chance to speak to your class teacher. So there'll be a parents' evening around about late October, early November, one again in the spring term, and then a report in the summer. And then there's frequent website updates, Facebook updates, Twitter updates to keep you in touch with the things that are happening. And we just say to everybody, if you've got a question or you're worried about anything, then send an email, ring school, and we'll make sure it gets through to the teachers. The only thing we do ask is that in the mornings, when the teachers are greeting the children and welcoming them into the classroom, particularly now that it's going to be this sort of staggered approach, we would really appreciate it if you've got any questions or any information you need to pass to the teacher, that you do it through the school office or via email or via the telephone, so that they can really focus on the children in the classroom and not speaking to the parents at the door. So we would really appreciate your support with that. So very briefly, phonics. Some of you will have come across this before with older siblings. Some of you will have gone through this at nursery as well. But essentially, it's the way that we teach the children to read. They're broken down into sounds, and the children spend every day, they have a phonics lesson, and they will do that throughout reception year 1 and into year 2 to really help them to perfect and improve their reading. Reading is very important to us. It's one of our key criteria, one of our key focus points at St Benedict's. It's something that we've spent this year trying to improve and build upon. Spent some time thinking about our reading areas and our library areas to try to really encourage the children to read. And the phonics is a key part of that. We've just spent quite a bit of money buying some new reading books for you to take home in September, hopefully, if they allow us to do that now. Some new reading books that will come home with you that are linked to the phonics that they're learning in the classroom. And when this PowerPoint is on the website, you'll be able to follow that link that I've got there if you want to see some more information about phonics and how it's taught in school. We follow letters and sounds, and when the children move into year 1 and 2, they are split into different groups that can be really targeted to their ability and their reading level. And this just gives you some more information. We try to encourage the phonics within all areas of the curriculum in the reception classroom. So it's often in opportunities within the sandpit or the water play or outside, to try to encourage them to learn these sounds in all the things that they are doing. For those of you who are unfamiliar with school, the terms will have changed a lot, I think. So foundation stage is preschool and reception. We don't have a preschool at St Benedict's, so we just refer to reception. And then key stage 1 is made up of years 1 and 2. And key stage 2 is years 3, 4, 5 and 6. I know that confuses lots of parents because it's very different to when we were there. So your child will be in reception, which is in the early years foundation stage. So just some pictures here of some of our children doing all the different activities. We have lots of things for them to do throughout the day. There are 7 different areas of learning, and there are different stations within the classroom that they will take part in. There's lots of activities to encourage them to read, to practice their maths. Communication skills are very important. I think that Miss Ogden in particular, the class teacher, is a little bit concerned that when you come for your transition morning, it doesn't look the way it will do in September and the way it normally looks, because we've had to make so many changes to the environment in order to support children starting to come back to school. So at the moment, as you will see when you come on the transition day, the group of children who are in there are sitting at their own individual desks facing forwards at the whiteboard, and that's not the way that reception is normally set up. And we've had to remove a lot of the equipment, a lot of the toys, so that the children, there's no, to limit the risk of contamination. And the other thing that they are very proud of in reception, that they do an absolutely fantastic job with the role play area. And Mrs. Everett is a fantastic set designer. We'll probably lose her to Hollywood one day, but she creates really amazing role play areas. And it's disappointing that the children won't get to see that on their transition day, but we've had to remove all soft furnishings from the area. So it will be ready for September, and the children will absolutely love it in that space. So you'll get an idea of the room, and the children will become familiar with where they need to go and where the toilets are, but they won't see it in all its glory. So there's some examples there on your screen now of it's always linked to the book that they're studying or the theme that they have for that half term, and they put lots of thought and effort into creating really fantastic spaces for the children. So as I said, reading is one of our biggest priorities. All children will be given a reading book to read at home, and then they're changed when you're ready to change them. We are going to implement a new system from September, as long as we are allowed to start sending materials home. There may be a delay, but we're hoping that the government are going to say that we're okay to send books home with children. And that will be that you'll be given a book that links to the phonics that they are studying, and a book that they have chosen from the library for you to read to them, to just encourage that reading for pleasure. So it's not always about sitting down and hard work for them to try to decode the words that are in front of them, but that you can share books with them that they have chosen. So that will start as soon as it can, and hopefully September. And then you'll have a reading record for you to make any notes. If your child has particularly struggled with the book or a particular word, you can communicate with the teachers about that. These are the things that would be really helpful, particularly at the moment. It would be very helpful if your child is encouraged to wash their hands and dry them at home, using soap properly. That would be a good start for us when they join us in September. Getting used to using a knife and fork, using a handkerchief. At school, we will be really promoting the catch it, bin it, kill it mantra, and there'll be posters displaying that, and we'll show videos to the children. So if you can practice that at home. If they don't have a tissue, because obviously lots of children in reception don't have tissues with them, or they lose them, we do encourage them to sneeze into their elbow, into the crook of their elbow, so that they're not sneezing onto the hands and touching things. So if they've been in a nursery setting, they've probably been practicing that a lot recently, but if not, that's something that you can talk to them about before they start, would be very helpful. Changing themselves for PE, doing up their coats, changing their shoes, those kind of things, if you can practice before September, is very helpful for the reception staff who have 30 children to get ready for PE, and it can be quite a daunting task if they all need support. You may well have heard recently in the newspaper about the baseline assessment. This year we were supposed to see the beginning of a compulsory assessment, baseline assessment for reception children. It has now been delayed so that it won't happen this year. We will still conduct some form of assessment, so that we know where the children are starting, what point they're starting at, and how we can support them. But the children don't know this is happening. It happens through play and as they're taking part in their activities, and the teachers watch and monitor and observe and assess in that manner. So if you hear people talking about baseline assessments and assessments in reception, the children don't sit down at a desk and take a test. It's all very informal, and the children know nothing. They don't know it's happening. We use Development Matters to guide us. That you will have seen that in your settings in nursery as well, and that gives us their current position and their next steps, and it will be the language we use when we are talking to you for assessments or parents' evenings throughout the year. So what will September bring? As we've said, we hope to have them all back in. We will be shortly, when we've taken on board all the guidance and had communication from the local authority, we will share our risk assessment. That will go on our website, and I will email it to all parents so you can see the measures that we will take to protect the children when they're in school. But overall, the most important thing for us is to make sure that the children come in, that they're happy, that they're settled, that we can make sure that they are hitting the ground running in terms of their learning. So the measures that we put in place, obviously safety will be paramount, as it always is, but we will be making the decisions based on what is also going to benefit the children with their learning. We are in the process of setting up an online Google Drive suite of, I don't know exactly what it's called, can't remember, but the government are helping us with it, and our IT provider are helping us with this platform, so that if we have to send a group home because a child has tested positive in that group, we will be able to carry on the learning from home with a different approach than we've been using now, hopefully more effective if we have to send the children home. Obviously, we're hoping that that doesn't happen, but it will be helpful for us to have ready in the future, just in case. So I just wanted to introduce you to some of our staff members that we've got here with us tonight. So we've got Miss Ogden. Do you want to say hello, Miss Ogden?
Hi, I'm Miss Ogden. I'm sorry we can't meet personally, but I'm really looking forward to working with you alongside your children next year so they can have great fun and learn loads through the system.
So Miss Ogden is class teacher. Then we've also got Mrs. Everett.
Hello everybody, I'm really looking forward to meeting your children and having lots of fun.
Also, we've got Mrs. McBride, who is the deputy head.
Hi everyone, pleased to meet you all.
And Mrs. Vernon, who is the special needs coordinator.
Hi everybody, I'm Mrs. Vernon. Yes, I am the special needs coordinator. If you do have any concerns about your children and your child's ability to learn, then I'm the person to contact. So early identification is really key, so that we can get strategy into place. So if you have any concerns at all about barriers to learning, then please get in touch with me. Or if your child is already identified as having a barrier to learning, if they are under speech and language or any other service that's external to school, then please come and see me. And for any more information that you would like in the interim, then please visit our website, because on there is the SEND policy, the equality policy, accessibility policy, all sorts of information on there, as well as our local offer. So if you have any questions in the interim, then just go and have a look on the website. But other than that, I look forward to meeting you in September.
Thank you. And then we've also got Mrs. Munro, who is our business manager. I haven't warned her I'm going to do this, so I'm just about to put her on the spot. So, Mrs. Munro, would you like to say anything?
Hi everyone. Mrs. Bassoon and I are the office team. So if you have any concerns that require any answers, not about your children's education, but anything else in school, please contact either Mrs. Bassoon or I. If you've got any queries about parents or what's coming up in school, you need letters, just come to the office and we'll do our best to help you out. And I'm looking forward to meeting you all in September.
Thank you. We've tried very hard over the last year to move away from sending out lots of letters, and we do everything by email where possible. So we are now able to get consent for trips via our the gateway system that you will be sent some information about, and we tried to email everything to you to save paper. So it's very important that your email addresses are up to date, and we will send you information about joining up to the school gateway system, because lots of information is shared through there. From September, we're going to be a cashless school, which means that you won't be able to pay us in cash for school trips or anything like that. So that will be done through the gateway system. And there may be some teething problems with that at first, but we'll send information about how that will work from September. But as we've moved away from running our own kitchen, and we now have the school dinners are all paid either by direct debit or by a debit payment on card through the provider called Dolce, we are finding that we don't need as much cash in school. So when payments do come in, it does cause Mrs. Munro a few problems, and we've just decided that the best thing to do is to become cashless. So more information will be shared about that, but it's very important that you sign up to the school gateway system so that you're able to participate with all of those items in school. If you think that you may be eligible for free school meals, then again, although your child will be given free school meals because they're in reception, if they sign up if you sign up online, it means that they are eligible for other benefits within schools. So school trips, there's subsidies for some of the school trips. We don't know the details yet, but what we do know is that the government are going to give some extra funding to schools to support the children who are from disadvantaged families. So if you are eligible, if you claim benefits and you're eligible for free school meals, if you sign up, that will enable your child to have some extra tuition as we move through. Again, I don't have all the details about it. We've only heard what you've heard in the papers, but we do know that one of the criteria for this extra funding will be free school meals. So it's in your interest to register if you qualify. Mrs. McBride, has anybody got any questions that have come up on the chat?
No, we haven't got any questions.
Has anybody got any questions they want to ask now? I'm hoping that the information that's been shared, school uniform information, will be on the website. We are expecting 30 children in the class. At the moment we have 30. We always, there's some movement, people move house, etc. But we have 3 children on our waiting list, so we are expecting to be full with 30 in September. And there will be Mrs. Ogden and Mrs. Everett. There will always be 2 adults in that classroom. On a Friday, Mrs. Almond works in reception, so there will always be 2 adults in that room. And then they will be supported by Tony, who is our sports coach. They'll have a PE session with him once a week. They'll have singing practice with Mrs. Thomason, so that we do bring other people in to support them in other areas. After school club is the only other thing I wanted to mention, that at the moment we do intend to run after school club, our internal after school club. So that's run by Mrs. Bassoon, Mrs. Fagali and Mrs. Barwaj. It runs from the end of school until 6 o'clock, and it opens in the morning from 7:45 until the start of the school day. We do envisage that running because we think that it will cause parents too much of a problem if it's not running in September. We may have to split it into 2 key stages, but at the moment there will definitely be after school provision, and you will again, you can get more information about that on the website. We are not yet sure whether we will be able to run any external clubs. So at the moment we have quite a number of people that come in to do football, rugby, tennis, arts and crafts. We have not yet had the guidance about whether that will be allowed to happen, but we will have an after school provision, so there will be somewhere for your children to go if you need childcare, and as soon as we possibly can get the extracurricular things happening again, then we will do, but we have to take guidance on that because of the situation at the moment. If you don't know, there is a Facebook page for the reception new starters, and people have been sharing videos of their children, so you can let your child watch and meet their new friends. I think everybody should by now have received the transition information about transition day. If you haven't, let me know. We look forward to meeting you and seeing your children on that day. Feel like I've done lots of talking. Don't know if I've missed anything out. It's very
Quick question there.
Go on, yeah.
Do you know the proportion of males to females in the class?
At the moment, it's go on, Miss Ogden. I know.
It's more or less an even split.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I think it's 16 to 14 at the moment, but I think it might change. I think it might be actually exactly half and half, which is unusual by the time we start. And go on, Miss Ogden.
I was just going to say, not relevant to the curriculum at all, but once they've got started, normally they start as a class WhatsApp group, don't they? And have a class rep.
Yeah. In the next week or 2, I have some information from the Parent Teacher Association. I feel like I've bombarded you all with lots of information in the last week or so. I'm sure everybody's already fed up of St Benedict's in their inbox, so I'll let a few days pass and then I'll send some information about the PTA. They're very welcome. Everybody is a member of the PTA when they join the school, the Parent Teacher Association. We have a group who are excellent at running that association for us, and they raise loads of money in lots of fun ways for the children, and it is really valuable to our school, and it enables us to buy things for the children that the budget wouldn't stretch to. So we really value the work that they do, and we'd encourage everybody to come along to the meetings that they have so that you can get involved. They normally run a summer fair and discos and all sorts. Don't know what's going to happen with that at the moment. They are at the moment selling afternoon teas for St Benedict's Day, which is on the 11th of July. They'll deliver what sounds like a beautiful afternoon tea. And having experienced it the last 2 summer fairs, I highly recommend it. And again, it's raising money for the school funds. But when the time's right, we'll share some more information. You will also be you will receive at different times some information for your child from their buddy. So everybody will have a year 6 buddy, and from they're coming in dribs and drabs. So as we receive them, we're sending them on to children, and we'll make sure before they come back in September that they've all had at least a letter, if not a video, introducing their buddy, somebody that they see on a weekly basis and spend time with to really help them feel settled in the school. So you will start to receive those over the next few weeks as well. Any more questions? No. Well, I will, sorry, is that somebody? No. I will put this video onto the website for other people to see, and share the PowerPoint. I've got another PowerPoint that I'm not going to go through tonight, which breaks down the different areas of learning and what they mean and how we support those in school. I'll put that onto the website, and then if you want to read that at your leisure, then you can do it, give you a bit more information. And we really hope that we'll be able to meet face-to-face for parents' meetings in the autumn term. But if not, it will be on a platform like this so that you can discuss your child's development. And we just can't wait to have you all, and look forward to having some children in the hall and behaving normally in school for a change. It's been far too long. So we look forward to seeing you all. And for those, I can see Georgie there. Hello. We look forward to seeing you all in September. And if you've got any questions, please just shout. We keep your eye on the website because the teachers will be sharing videos to get the children ready for school. And we'll see you in September.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye, Rob. Take care.
Soon.